Human beings have always been dependent on animals such as cattle, birds, pigs, sheep, and bees for products like milk, eggs, wool, meat, and honey. With an increase in population worldwide, an increase in food production is also required. This can be achieved through animal husbandry and plant breeding. Animal husbandry refers to the practice of breeding and rearing livestock that are useful to human beings, and includes cattle or dairy farming, poultry farming, beekeeping, and fisheries. Plant breeding refers to the manipulation of plant species to create desired plant types that are better suited to cultivation, giving better yields, and that are disease resistant. Did you know that India and China together contribute more than 70% to the livestock population in the world? However, as the productivity is very low, their contribution to the world farm produce is a mere 25%. To increase the overall quality and productivity of animal produce, strategies and techniques to enhance food production need to be initiated, along with proper management of farms and farm animals. Let us look at the management practices followed in dairy and poultry farms, where traditional methods have been combined with innovative technologies to boost food production. Dairy farms rear animals for milk and milk products. The management methods used to increase production without compromising on the quality of milk is called dairy farm management. One of the key factors for increased milk production is breed selection. Good breeds have high yielding potential and high resistance to disease. Apart from the breed, proper sheltering, feeding, and cleaning of cattle are essential to obtain high yields of milk. Sheltering involves providing a clean and disease-free environment with sufficient ventilation and water for the animals. It is also very important to keep a check on the health of the cattle through regular visits of a veterinary doctor. Their feeding is carried out in a scientific way, involving the supply of fodder that is checked for specific quantity and quality. Cleaning the cattle and their shelters is also important to avoid any risk of germs and diseases. Apart from cleanliness, hygienic measures should be followed to keep the cattle and the handler clean. To avoid any contamination during milking, storing, and transporting milk from the farm. Nowadays, with new technologies such as milking machines that are used to harvest milk, most of these processes are mechanized, and the possibility of contamination is greatly reduced compared to the old method of milking by hand. In addition, the proper functioning of a dairy farm can be monitored by periodical inspection and record keeping. Just as dairy farms are used to rear milk-yielding animals, poultry farms are managed to raise domestic fowls or birds, such as chicken, duck, turkey, and geese. These birds are reared for their meat and eggs. In fact, Poultry refers to the meat of these birds and is sometimes used to denote the meat of all kinds of birds. Poultry farms also employ the management practices of dairy farming, such as proper breed selection, shelter, feed, and healthcare. Like milk, chicken and eggs are also consumed by human beings, which is how bird diseases spread to human beings as well. Bird flu or avian flu is a very common disease. If the chickens get infected by such diseases, they need to be properly culled and disposed of. However, ensuring proper hygienic shelter for the birds, nutritious feed, and regular health care, along with good quality breed selection, will result in an increase in chicken and egg production. In this manner, proper poultry farm and dairy farm management, along with strategies and techniques to ensure good yield and quality, will help increase the overall quality and productivity of animal produce. Animal breeding is the controlled propagation of animals to achieve desirable qualities of farm animals and increase the yield of these animals. The term breed refers to a group of animals within a species related by ancestors and possessing many similar characters such as appearance, behavior, and size. For example, Jersey and Leghorn are very popular breeds of cattle and chicken used for breeding. Animal breeding is divided into two main categories: inbreeding and outbreeding. Inbreeding is breeding between animals belonging to the same breed with a common ancestor, whereas outbreeding is breeding between animals belonging to different breeds or between the same breed but with different ancestors, or between different species. Let us learn more about inbreeding. Animals selected for inbreeding are of superior quality and are closely related for 4 to 6 generations. A superior quality cow is one that produces more milk, and a superior bull is one that is a strong draft animal and gives rise to superior offspring. Subsequently, mating is carried out between offspring which have superior qualities. Thus, inbreeding increases homozygosity in animals. That is, it results in a pure line of animals with desired characters. This is similar to Mendel's experiment that yielded homozygous pure lines in pea plants. Inbreeding also helps in the expression of desirable characters and the elimination of undesirable characters in the offspring. However, inbreeding can increase the chance of expression of recessive genes, which are harmful. If inbreeding among closely related breeds is continued, it can result in inbreeding depression, which is reduced fertility and productivity. Now let's learn more about outbreeding. Outbreeding can be carried out in 3 ways: outcrossing, crossbreeding, and interspecific hybridization. Outcrossing is mating between animals of the same breed but with no common ancestors for up to 4 to 6 generations on either side. This type of breeding overcomes inbreeding depression. Crossbreeding is mating between animals of superior quality belonging to different breeds to produce hybrids possessing superior qualities of both their parents. For example, Jersey with a long lactation period and red Sindhi with high disease resistance are mated for a new breed with both the desired characters called Jer Sindh. The new breed obtained is then subject to inbreeding to increase the herd population. Another example of crossbreeding is the cross between Bikaneri ewes and Merino rams to form a new sheep breed, Hisar Dale. The third type of outbreeding is interspecific hybridization, where animals of two different species are mated. For example, mating between a male donkey and a female horse to form a new breed, a mule. Although most new breeds are infertile, they have high economic value. Both inbreeding and outbreeding can also be carried out using controlled breeding experiments. Artificial insemination is one such method. In artificial insemination, semen is first collected from the superior male. The semen is then injected into the reproductive tract or vagina of the female animal, or can be frozen for future use. Thus, artificial insemination is carried out to overcome problems in natural breeding and also to carry out mating between animals that are geographically separated. However, the success of animal breeding using artificial insemination is low, and so new techniques like multiple ovulation embryo transfer technology or MOET were developed. MOET involves the administration of gonadotrophic hormones like FSH and LH to female animals, which induce maturation of follicles resulting in superovulation. Superovulation is the production of 6 to 8 eggs instead of 1 egg. The superovulated female is mated with a superior male either through natural mating or artificial insemination. This results in fertilization of all the eggs. When the fertilized eggs reach the 8 to 32 cell stage, they are non-surgically removed and then implanted into different surrogate mothers for further development in a process called embryo transfer. Now, the female animal can be used for superovulation once again. In this manner, MOET helps increase the herd population containing desirable characters in a short span of time. MOET is widely carried out in animals such as cattle, buffaloes, and sheep. So different techniques such as artificial insemination and MOET, along with various inbreeding and outbreeding methods, are employed in animal breeding to produce offspring with superior qualities. Animal husbandry includes beekeeping and fisheries, in addition to cattle and poultry farming. Beekeeping, also known as apiculture, is the rearing of honeybees in artificial beehives called apiaries for the commercial production of honey. Honey is highly nutritious and an important constituent of several medicines. Also, the apiaries in which honeybees live and nurture their young ones are a source of beeswax. Beeswax is used in cosmetics and polish. Due to the increasing demand for honey, beekeeping is done both on a small and large scale. In small-scale beekeeping, 1 or 2 apiaries are kept in verandas or on rooftops, whereas in large-scale beekeeping, many apiaries are used. As the quality of the honey depends on the pasture available near the apiaries, beekeeping is usually practiced near fruit plantations and cultivated fields. Honeybees act as pollinators by helping crops like sunflower during flowering. In turn, they get nectar from the flowers. As a result, farmers get a high yield in terms of crops as well as honey. The most commonly reared honeybee species is Apis indica, also called the Indian bee. Although beekeeping is easy, it does require some knowledge and training that is provided by certain organizations. Some tips to be kept in mind are knowing the nature of the honeybees, selecting a desirable location for the beehives, controlling swarms, managing beehives during different climatic conditions, and collecting honey and beeswax. Following these tips will help carry out beekeeping successfully. Like beekeeping, fisheries are another part of animal husbandry. And relates to the rearing, catching and selling of aquatic animals such as fish and shellfish. As fish contain more proteins and less fat, they are preferred to other meats. Most commonly eaten freshwater fish include katla, rohu, and the common carp, while marine fish include hilsa, mackerel, and pomfret. Fisheries also provide products such as cod liver oil, which is a nutritional supplement, and pearl oysters that have commercial value. Consequently, it forms the livelihood of many people in coastal areas of India. As seafood like fish, prawn, crab and lobster are always in demand, several techniques like aquaculture and pisciculture are employed to increase their yield. Aquaculture is the cultivation of aquatic animals and plants for food, whereas pisciculture refers specifically to fish farming. This dramatic increase in seafood production was called the Blue Revolution, compared to the Green Revolution that brought about an increase in agricultural production. India is an agricultural country with 62% of people engaged in agriculture for their livelihood. With the passage of time and an increase in population, the demand for food has risen extensively. Earlier, this was tackled through traditional farming and better management practices. However, it resulted in a very small increase in yield. It was only during the 1960s that the Green Revolution brought about a drastic increase in the production of high-yielding, disease-resistant crops like wheat and rice by employing plant breeding techniques. Plant breeding involves crossing between plants with desired characters to produce offspring that possess the superior characters of both their parents. It dates back 9,000 to 11,000 years ago, when conventional plant breeding was practiced. Conventional or traditional breeding is crossing plants for desirable characters sexually through self or cross-pollination, or asexually through grafting. Most of the major crops such as wheat, rice, and maize are the result of conventional breeding. On the other hand, classical breeding uses techniques such as mutation or tissue culture, followed by crossbreeding of pure lines and artificial selection of plants. The desirable characters of plants generated by plant breeding include high yield with quality, tolerance to different types of environmental stress, resistance to microbes, and pests. Plant breeding is commonly carried out in government research institutes and some private organizations and involves several steps. The first step in plant breeding is the collection of germplasm of a particular crop that is intended for breeding. Germplasm is the collection of all the genes of different varieties of a particular crop in the form of seeds or plants. In this way, the naturally available gene pool can be utilized for breeding. The second step is the selection of superior parents. Here, two plants with the different desired characters are selected from the available germplasm. Then, they are made to self-cross to get a pure line of those varieties. The third step is cross-hybridization of the superior parents. This is done by collecting the pollen grains of one parent plant and placing them on the stigma of the other parent plant. However, the hybrids obtained may not contain all the desired characters present in the superior parents. In fact, 1 in 1,000 or 2,000 hybrids obtained may contain the desired characters of both superior parents. Hence, this step is considered cumbersome. The fourth step is the selection of superior hybrids. The desired hybrid is selected from the thousands of hybrids formed during crossbreeding that possess the characters of both its parents. Hence, it is considered superior than its parents. The hybrid is then allowed to self-pollinate till it forms a pure line of homozygous plants. The final step is the evaluation of the hybrid for the characters gained. This is done by first cultivating the hybrid in a research field under ideal conditions. Later, they are cultivated in farmers' fields at different locations for 3 growing seasons. This helps in comparing the performance of the hybrid against the best crop cultivar available in that area. In this way, plant breeding has increased the yield of many crops, including wheat, rice, sugarcane, and millet. The Green Revolution is a result of using various plant breeding techniques to boost agriculture. During this period, there was a dramatic increase in the production of wheat from 11 to 75 million